If you've got a table of data and you want to elevate it a little bit, why not have a look at creating some custom headers? So that's what we're going to be looking at in today's video. So let's pop over to live version of me and see how we do this. Hey guys, welcome back to Rather Be Visin. My name is Sam, and today we're going to be looking at how you can create some custom headers for your tables within Tableau. So no more waffle from me, let's head straight into Tableau and take a look at the question we're trying to answer here and how we would go about it. Okay, so here we are in Tableau, and you can see I've got a table of data here, having a look at all my different months, and then I've got some of my metrics in here. So I've got my furniture sales, my office supplies sales, my tech sales, and then I've got a total of all the sales here. And you can see that because I've followed my own best practice here, I've prefixed them all with a little C and a full stop so that I know it's a calculated field. And you can see our total is called total sales, all categories, new metric 2024, which isn't the most aesthetically pleasing. Now, what we can do in order to change these without having to change the names of our calculated fields is we can right click and we can edit the alias. So in here, I can call this total sales. So rather than pulling through that name into my table, it's going to pull through total sales. And I can do the same for the rest of these. However, you can't always edit the aliases, especially if you are using a published data source. You can't edit the alias of a published data source. So one way around that is to create a copy of the metric that you then rename to what you want. But if you do that across multiple different dashboards or sheets within your workbook, you're going to end up with multiple copies of the same metric. So there's a better way of doing it. It's actually quite straightforward. So I'm just going to remove that alias now, so we can go back to my horrible name in here, and let's have a look at how we would go about doing this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new sheet here, and I'm going to come up to columns, and I'm going to put a double slash to start doing a comment, and I'm going to put in month in quote marks, and then going to press shift and enter, and I'm going to type min 0. There we go, and you can see I've now got month. I don't need those quotation marks, so I can take those out. Now I've got month. I'm going to take a copy of this. I'm going to come in, I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to call this total sales. I'm going to come in, edit this, and I'll call this whatever my first one was. So furniture, office supplies, and then tech. There we go. So what we've done there is by using that comment, that's not actually being used to create this pill. What is actually being used is the min 0, but by putting that in as a comment to start off with, you'll see that on our marks card, we can clearly see what each of these different marks cards are applying to. So if we want to do something different for our tech figures we're going to be pulling through, or for our header here, then we can do so, and we can very easily identify which one it is. Had we not have done that and we just had 5 min 0s, we'd have min 0, min 01, min 02, so on and so forth. So just a quick way to be able to identify which one you're going to be editing. So first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to change these to all be text, and then I'm going to double click on my month card to create a pill, and then in my quote marks I'm going to put month, and then I'm going to drag that up and I'll put that onto text. And now you can see we've got month in that box. So I'm going to do the same for the rest of these, but I'll speed it up so you don't have to watch me typing away. Okay, so there we are, that's all done. So what we can do now is we can right click on here, uncheck show header. We can say this needs to take up the entire view. We can right click within here. We could take out all of our 0 lines and all of our grid lines. And then I'm going to come up to all, and I'm going to change this to square. And then I'm going to change the size of it to be the biggest it can be. And I'm going to say I want my label to be in the middle. So now we have our different headers. If we wanted to, we could change the color of these. So maybe I want my tech to be an orange, I want my office supplies to be a green, and I'll have my furniture be a purple. And then what can we have for total? Let's go for a good old gray. Can never go wrong with gray. So now we have our headers. and we've got our table. So all we need to do is come into dashboard. We're going to bring in a vertical container. I'm going to bring in my table and stick that into the container. I'm going to bring in my headers and I'm going to drop that at the top there. I'm going to right click, I'm going to hide my title on both of these, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to uncheck show header on my table. Now we can see we've got both of them set to be entire views, so they'll be lined up correctly. What we might want to do is come in here, format, we might want to get rid of all of the lines so that we don't have any obvious gaps between these two things. And there we go, there we have it. So now we've got our custom headers that aren't pulling through what the calculation names are, and we've got quite a nice slick little view here. So some other things that we can do here to maybe tidy this up a bit, if we hop back into this sheet, let's change the label on all of these to be, let's go for size 14. Now you'll see that we've got some that bleed over the edge. What we can do, if we hold down the control key and press the up arrow, we can change the size of this, so now our squares take up the full space of the cell. So if we go back to the dashboard, we can see now we've got it's taken up all the space and our title is no longer coming over the edge. The other thing you can do is include some additional information. So if you've got quite a complicated metric, maybe something that's not as straightforward as tech sales, you might have something that is taking one metric and dividing it by another. We can come into label, and we can come in here and we can say, we can give some additional information. So this is looking at all tech sales. I'm just going to highlight that. I'm going to maybe make it italic, drop it down to size 9, click apply, and then we have a look at the dashboard. We can see we've now got that additional information in there within that header, and we can just clear up any confusion that people might have. So that is a couple of ways of being able to add in a custom set of headers for the table that you've got. So if you have got some quite wacky calculation names, you don't have to worry. You can get around it quite easy by pulling through this header setup. Hopefully you found that useful. If you did, as always, please do let me know in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers for watching.